Your magazine is Dissent.
Yes.
What do you dissent from?
Well, it began in 1854, actually. The magazine began, Irving Howe, great literary critic, was the original editor, and they dissented from both communism, Stalinism, and those who defended that, which a lot of people on the left in America still did at that time, and from McCarthyism, from those who argued that anybody who had ever been involved with any communist front group 20 years before was in effect helping the Soviets. So it was very much a magazine supporting free speech of all kinds and opposed to tyrannical state authority, whether it came from the United States or from communist countries. And we're still that kind of magazine. Here's our latest issue, for example.
Charlie, in terms of what I've experienced in the last 10 years, locally, the overwhelming reaction to the work that we've been doing on behalf of the people who have been charged or arrested here in Portland and the work in Guantanamo has been very positive. It's been positive both from the general public, from the court system, from all of the political people with whom we interact. There have been some nasty and negative emails that periodically show up, an occasional comment in a newspaper or on a blog. But with respect to the Guantanamo work, there were a couple of very overt attacks on the Guantanamo lawyers generally by an Undersecretary of Defense in the Bush administration and by Dick Cheney's daughter and several other prominent people who made efforts to get the large law firms which are involved in the representation of the men in Guantanamo, some having signed on in 2001 or 2002, expecting, well, this would be a year or two battle, and they're still in it 12 years later, some of these firms having spent millions of dollars out of their own pockets. I mean, they're the real heroes in terms of the contribution to that effort, that they've just funded this out of their own pockets. And efforts were made by this Undersecretary of Defense and others to contact some of their large corporate clients and say to their large corporate clients, you should get rid of these law firms, fire these big law firms, because what they are doing in representing these terrorists in Guantanamo is un-American. The response to those efforts by the organized bar, American Bar Association, and other groups was loud and hostile to the people who were trying to attack the law firms. And I think at the end of the day, their efforts backfired, and the much louder voices in that discussion, which really wasn't much of a discussion, were, shut up, Mr. Undersecretary, you're out of line. These lawyers are doing what is in the highest traditions of the legal profession. And that's pretty much how I have felt in terms of the reaction that's come to me.
It's interesting, lawyers who are considered to be unpatriotic, un-American at a certain point now are sort of icons, like Clarence Darrow. At one point, he was called an anarchist. He actually might have been an anarchist, but with Leopold v. Loeb, with some people who were fundamentalist Christians thought who was un-American, defending John Scopes, defending Debs in the 1890s, and so forth. So, but now, of course, one of the only lawyers in the past that my students can name when I ask them is Clarence Darrow, because he's been heralded in stage, screen, and television.
Well, I ain't Clarence Darrow, but you could have signed them my book, then they'd know another lawyer's name.